Inside the casino, the beautiful dealer is dealing cards. A wealthy woman arrives with her handsome assistant. The woman brings a large bag of cash. The dealer immediately beams with delight. The woman joins the game. The rules are simple. Guess red or white. The odds of winning or losing are 50-50. Unexpectedly, the woman guesses correctly. Every time, she wins a fortune from the casino. In truth, the woman is a fraud. She often disguises herself as a witch to swindle money. With her silver tongue, she convinces the poor to hand over their savings. 2 weeks earlier, she bribed the dealer. They agreed that if he blinks once, she bets red. Through cheating, the woman walks away with huge winnings every time. But the casino owner is desperate. If this continues, the woman will clean out the casino. So, the owner sets a rule. One final game. This time, she takes the dealer's seat. The owner removes her coat, revealing a tattooed back. She sits at the table confidently and spins the wheel. As the woman hesitates, the bribed dealer secretly blinks at her. She understands and bets everything on red. The owner calmly counters, wagering the casino's entire stack on the opposite side. When the wheel stops, the owner lifts the cover only to see the woman guessed right again. As the woman frantically stuffs money into her bag, the owner suddenly pulls out a hairpin. Her hair cascades as she unsheathes a gleaming knife. She demands the money back. The two women stand face to face. Chaos erupts in the casino. Police storm in, threatening to arrest the owner. She refuses to surrender, brandishing her knife in defiance. But the police fire without mercy. As the owner collapses, the crowd flees in panic. Amid the chaos, the handsome assistant gets injured while protecting the woman, but he insists she escape first. The woman flees the casino in the tumult, only to discover upon reaching safety that the 2 billion cash in her bag has been replaced with fortune-telling charms. The woman realizes she's been swindled. Back at the casino, the shop owner stands up unharmed. She joins the fake cop and the woman's assistant in laughter. In truth, all three are accomplices. The dealer and cop are the same man wearing a mask. During the chaos, the assistant swaps the money bag. The casino patrons were just actors. Tonight's whole scene was a staged performance. For them, life is one exquisite con after another. With top-tier minds, Yoon Yi-rang is the trio's leader. James, playing dealer and cop, is the second most experienced con artist. The youngest, Myung-gu-ho, is the only one not living off scams. After this job, Yoon Yi-rang and James joyfully shower in cash at home. Only Myung-gu-ho plans to quit. He's always felt this life didn't suit him. When he truly leaves, Yoon Yi-rang and James don't stop him. They bet he'll return. Alone, Myung-gu-ho enjoys peaceful days by the seaside, until one day, a parachute lands on the beach. The woman emerging hugs him immediately. Myung-gu-ho nearly collapses upon recognition. Yoon Yi-rang keeps disrupting his peace. She stubbornly stays, watching meteors with him in the village. While he feeds her, Yoon Yi-rang flips between moods, angry that he's thriving without her, then boasting about being a super genius antisocial maniac. While Yoon Yi-rang was amusing herself alone, Myung-gu-ho received a call from James. Learning that James was hospitalized, they rushed to the hospital. Inside, James suffered multiple fractures, wrapped up like a real mummy. Myung-gu-ho demanded an explanation. Yoon Yi-rang slowly revealed James's condition was linked to a failed scam. Sometime after Myung-gu-ho left the team, James targeted a wealthy target, Chairman Jeon. On the surface, Chairman Jeon was a philanthropist, using his wealth to run orphanages. But this was just a facade. In private, he extorted money from churches. He was also a loan shark gangster, known as the underground economy godfather in Gangnam. He held absolute power within his family. Recently, the National Tax Service launched an investigation into illegal funds. To avoid taxation, Chairman Jeon hid tens of billions of won in cash. The urgent task was to smuggle all the money abroad. After gathering this information, a few days earlier, James executed his scam on Chairman Jeon. To lure the chairman, James pretended to be a cargo ship captain. He deliberately left a wallet with documents in the bathroom, ensuring the chairman would find it. This is how they met. As planned, James showed the chairman his ship and cargo containers, gaining his trust. The chairman then contacted James, asking him to smuggle his goods overseas. That night, after the chairman's men loaded the containers, actors hired by James pretended to be tax officials inspecting the containers. To their shock, the containers were completely empty. It turns out, Chairman Jeon had seen through James's scam. James being wrapped like a mummy was the chairman's doing. After hearing Yoon Yi-rang's explanation, Naive Myung-gu-ho vowed to avenge James. He always knew James's speed dial number 1 was him. Myung-gu-ho was deeply moved. If James treated him like family, how could he ignore his family's plight? After deciding to get revenge for James, Myung-gu-ho returned to the team's hideout. One day, Yoon Yi-rang excitedly picked up a red sexy lingerie, planning to seduce Chairman Jaeon herself. But Myung-gu-ho carefully put down Yoon Yi-rang's lingerie, then burst into laughter. He listed Yoon Yi-rang's many failed seduction attempts, claiming she had no talent for flirting. Her seduction tactics would drain every romantic cell from a man. After days of relaxation, Yoon Yi-rang came up with a brilliant plan. This time, the focus was aviation. She studied flight knowledge and flight attendant etiquette on her own. With her exceptional intelligence, Yoon Yi-rang quickly mastered everything without formal training. Soon, she successfully disguised as a flight attendant, blending into an airline. Chairman Jaeon happened to be on this flight. On board, Yoon Yi-rang played the flight attendant, while Myung-gu-ho pretended to be the airline's illegitimate son. As planned, Myung-gu-ho sprayed a mouthful of ice water on Yoon Yi-rang's face, causing a scene to catch the chairman's attention. After landing, the chairman realized he had taken the wrong suitcase. Inside was a pile of cash. This was Yoon Yi-rang and Myung-gu-ho's setup. They intentionally had Yoon Yi-rang grab the wrong suitcase at the carousel. At night, Chairman John returned the suitcase untouched to Yoon Yi-rang. Seizing the opportunity, Yoon Yi-rang befriended the chairman. During drinks, she casually mentioned, Myung-gu-ho is the airline boss's illegitimate son. The chairman took an interest. He immediately invited Yoon Yi-rang to a nightclub, claiming it was a second round. There, Myung-gu-ho was pretending to be a decadent rich kid. The chairman took the chance to beat Myung-gu-ho up. He demanded to know how they smuggled the cash-filled suitcase onto the plane. Just as Myung-gu-ho was about to speak, the chairman's men found a video. It showed the real illegitimate son of the airline boss. His shoulder had a special tattoo. The chairman immediately checked, and found no tattoo on Myung-gu-ho's shoulder. Realizing Myung-gu-ho was fake, the chairman didn't hesitate. He pulled a gun, forcing Myung-gu-ho to reveal his true identity. Facing death, Myung-gu-ho asked the chairman to check his other shoulder. Sure enough, the tattoo was there. Turns out, the video was a mirror image. But this didn't make the chairman believe Myung-gu-ho. On the way back, he ordered his men to closely monitor Myung-gu-ho to confirm his true identity. Myung-gu-ho was already prepared. He acted like a bored rich kid, taking 4 adorable puppies for a walk. Then, he brought them to a wealthy couple next door, creating the illusion of being the dog's owner. The chairman's men captured the rich kid walking the dogs, reducing their suspicions. The next day, the chairman met with Myung-gu-ho and Yoon Yi-rang. He ordered them to take 2 boxes to the Philippines, strictly forbidding them to open the boxes. Yoon Yi-rang and Myung-gu-ho complied. They successfully delivered the goods to the Philippines. Upon arrival, seeing a homestay owner beckoning for business on the roadside, Myung-gu-ho's memory flashed back years. Back then, Myung-gu-ho had been a homestay owner on the island. Yoon Yi-rang and James had been guests who booked the stay. At that time, Myung-gu-ho had fallen in love with Yoon Yi-rang at first sight. Lost in his memories, Myung-gu-ho suddenly realized he and Yoon Yi-rang had both fainted. Unbeknownst to them, the car had released a gas that caused unconsciousness. When Myung-gu-ho awoke, he found himself locked in an abandoned house. Through the window, he saw guards outside. Clearly, they had been kidnapped. Yoon Yi-rang woke up later and met the kidnapper. The man revealed he had once done business with Chairman Jaeon, but was robbed of his organs. Now, he sought revenge. The chairman's 2 boxes were filled with illegal drugs. The man demanded Yoon Yi-rang's cooperation, promising to hand the drugs to Korean police, with her testifying against the chairman. Seeing Yoon Yi-rang hesitate, the man threatened to cut off Myung-gu-ho's finger if she refused. Unexpectedly, Yoon Yi-rang didn't plead for mercy. Instead, she begged the man not to cut Myung-gu-ho's middle finger. Cut the ring finger instead. At least he could still earn a living with it. The man approached with a knife, ready to obey Yoon Yi-rang's request. Just as Myung-gu-ho's finger was about to be cut, a car suddenly crashed in. It was the chairman. Seeing this, the man's men fled in all directions. Grateful, Myung-gu-ho hugged the chairman, thanking him for his heroic arrival. Later, Myung-gu-ho scolded Yoon Yi-rang for not caring about his finger, but Yoon Yi-rang knew the chairman's boxes contained listening devices. She realized the kidnapping was a staged act between the chairman and the man. Fortunately, Myung-gu-ho's acting had been natural today. She believed the chairman was beginning to trust them. Soon, Chairman Jaeon received an investigation notice from the National Tax Service. The situation was urgent. He moved up the asset transfer plan, taking Yoon Yi-rang and Myung-gu Ho to his secret vault. The chairman's secret funds totaled 5 billion won. He demanded all the money be shipped overseas within a week. Given the massive amount, Yoon Yi-rang devised a way to bypass security checks. During peak travel season, airlines opened special security channels. She planned to install shielding devices in the money-filled suitcases, blocking X-ray detection. Tests confirmed the plan worked, but on execution day, things went wrong. First, a police dog sniffed out the suitcase at the boarding gate. Myung-gu Ho, carrying it, was arrested on the spot. Myung-gu Ho was soon released, being the boss's illegitimate son, but retrieving the money proved impossible. The chairman threatened to kill them both if the money wasn't returned. In desperation, Yoon Yi-rang bumped into a flyer distributor. Seeing the flyer on the ground, she spotted an opportunity and proposed a new plan. The chairman ran a charity foundation. By making large overseas donations in the foundation's name, chartering a private plane, and packaging illegal funds as relief supplies, they could legally smuggle the money abroad under humanitarian aid. The chairman approved, falling entirely into their trap. In truth, the police dog detected the suitcase, because Yoon Yi-rang had sprayed a special liquid on it. Myung-gu Ho questioned why she hadn't proposed the relief plan earlier. Yoon Yi-rang explained. The staged accident was to fully erase the chairman's suspicions. Meanwhile, the so-called shielding device was actually a fake Yoon Yi-rang had prepared beforehand. In reality, it was just a program installed in a computer. Anything scanned by that computer would show no actual contents inside. All these preparations were merely to gain the chairman's trust. The chartered plane and relief supplies were the real key. Next came the second phase of the deception. This time, Myung-gu Ho pretended to be a foundation director meeting airline executives. Under the guise of aid, he booked the entire plane. Once the charter was secured, the chairman's men packed 5 billion won into boxes, loading them onto so-called relief trucks. Soon, the trucks arrived at the airport. Countless boxes of cash were loaded into the plane's cargo hold. On board, Myung-gu Ho secretly asked Yoon Yi-rang about the next step, but suddenly, the chairman burst in with his men. Without a word, he punched Myung-gu Ho. It turned out, the chairman had just seen news that the real airline boss's illegitimate son had been killed abroad. Realizing he'd been tricked, the chairman furiously injected drugs into Myung-gu Ho. But then the plane jolted violently. Turbulence outside was extreme. The chairman hurried back to his seat to buckle up. Outside, the plane was swaying dangerously, as if about to crash. After the announcement, the pilot tried to pull up the nose, attempting to stop the nosedive. He also ordered reducing cabin weight. As a flight attendant, Yoon Yi-rang quickly followed the pilot's instructions. She removed all passengers' luggage, including the chairman's money boxes. Then, the pilot stepped out. It was James. James gave the order, cabin decompression. Yoon Yi-rang pushed open the door, throwing the chairman's boxes one by one overboard. Watching his 5 billion won disappear, the chairman nearly went insane. Yoon Yi-rang seized the moment, having Myung-gu Ho grab the emergency vests. Furious, the chairman put one on. Hoping to recover the money, he jumped without hesitation. He landed on a sand dune. Luckily, the money boxes were nearby. As the chairman rejoiced at finding them, he discovered they were all filled with blank paper. It turned out that, after the money boxes were loaded into the cargo hold, James, disguised as the captain, had switched them out early. Now, the chairman's 5 billion won had been moved into Yoon Yi-rang's home by the three of them. Yoon Yi-rang and James opened champagne to celebrate, while Myung-gu Ho was left wondering what was real and what was fake. Yoon Yi-rang explained, James pretending to be the captain to get close to the chairman was real, but after failing to gain the chairman's trust, he chose to withdraw. The so-called beating by the chairman was fake. In reality, seeing how suspicious the chairman was, they changed the plan and brought Myung-gu Ho into the operation. Because of his honesty and simplicity, which would make the chairman let his guard down. Before the airline plan began, Yoon Yi-rang had already prepared thoroughly. She had calculated the cabin pressure and decompression conditions in advance, ensuring the plan was carried out safely. Even James hadn't been idle. His broken bone was fake. While pretending to be bedridden, he forged National Tax Service documents and networked tirelessly, having a former classmate pose as the chairman's secretive photographer. Besides keeping most of the ill-gotten money, the three anonymously donated a portion to a church that had its land stolen. They also reported the corrupt chairman to the authorities, with ample evidence, leading to his arrest. After everything was settled, Yoon Yi-rang secretly went to a small room with a chessboard, without telling James or Myung-gu-ho. The chessboard before her was tied to an incident from 25 years ago. Years ago, young Yoon Yi-rang was made to play against masked opponents in black. To her, those mysterious figures in black were terrifying memories. Now, alongside the chessboard, a news clipping about a kidnapping case lay before Yoon Yi-rang, with Myung-gu-ho at the center of it. 3 months ago, Myung-gu-ho, from the scam team, encountered something. That day, a familiar guesthouse owner contacted him, saying her daughter hadn't contacted home for days. Myung-gu-ho went to check. That night, the girl was in a car accident and hospitalized. Though unharmed, she seemed traumatized and remained silent. Myung-gu-ho visited her apartment. She was an art student. Posters in the room proved it. She was fighting hard for her dreams. He noticed a diary and learned about her horrifying ordeal. It involved Yoo Myung-han, a nationally renowned art critic. He had a sharp eye for art, quickly judging paintings' authenticity. Fame from media grew in recent years. 6 months ago, he became a visiting professor at the university and met Bora. But beneath the artist's facade, he was a monster. Under the guise of mentoring her painting, he repeatedly harassed her. Myung-gu-ho swore to seek justice for Bora, but this time, Yoon Yi-rang refused to join, believing Yoo Myung-han had no assets. She saw no point in small scams. Myung-gu-ho turned to James, calling him brother and promising his entire share. James agreed. Without Yoon Yi-rang, the two men began their revenge plan. They disguised themselves as fire inspectors and entered Yoo Myung-han's home. They installed surveillance devices everywhere. Then, 24-hour monitoring began. They believed these devices would expose his true nature. The surveillance showed Yoo Myung-han was a hopeless narcissist. He admired his own body like a god while showering. He even believed his waist was more beautiful than others. Worse, he often appraised paintings, deliberately calling originals fakes. He bought them cheaply and resold them at exorbitant prices. Watching Yoo Myung-han shamelessly lie, Myung-gu-ho and James cursed him as a fraud. Beyond financial fraud, the two men discovered Yoo Myung-han was involved in illegal buying and trading of cultural heritage. His actions went beyond ordinary scams. While the two men were busy monitoring, Yoon Yi-rang stayed home seeking excitement, but found everything utterly boring. So she went to a bookstore to look for books about Yoo Myung-han. With her talent for quickly absorbing knowledge, she memorized Yoo Myung-han's resume in no time. She learned he specialized in critiquing famous paintings and discovering new artists. During her search, Yoon Yi-rang's eyes landed on one painting Yoo Myung-han had discovered. It depicted a mysterious figure in black. She couldn't forget. Her childhood trauma was closely tied to this painting. Determined to uncover its secrets, she decided to join the team. James and Myung-gu-ho updated Yoon Yi-rang on their surveillance. Days of monitoring proved Yoo Myung-han used artworks to secretly funnel illegal funds for political elites. Every time he bought a painting with company money, he created an identical fake, hung the fake in the company lobby, and used the original to build secret funds for a conglomerate chairman. James figured Yoo Myung-han must deal with countless chaebol chairmen. Yoon Yi-rang saw a business opportunity and decided to make a huge profit from this fat sheep. To lure Yoo Myung-han, Yoon Yi-rang needed bait herself. Coincidentally, Yoo Myung-han was holding an art auction that day. She disguised herself as the procurement director of the world's top auction house. With a sweep of her pen, she bought several paintings from Yoo Myung-han's auction. Yoo Myung-han immediately seized this wealthy, beautiful patron and invited her to dinner after the event. During dinner, Yoon Yi-rang intentionally mentioned that her auction company was highly optimistic about Korea's art scene and planned more actions in the future. However, Yoo Myung-han proved sharper than expected. To verify her identity, he deliberately brought up the company's legal director. Unprepared, Yoon Yi-rang fumbled through her bag for a business card. As Yoo Myung-han's suspicious gaze intensified, James and Myung-gu-ho secretly helped, quickly digging up the director's details online and feeding the information via hidden earpieces. Though Yoon Yi-rang answered in time, Yoo Myung-han remained doubtful. Mid-meal, he excused himself to contact acquaintances for verification. Fortunately, Yoon Yi-rang had done her homework. Her itinerary matched Yoo Myung-han's findings exactly. Only then did Yoo Myung-han fully dismiss his doubts. Seeing the hook was set, Yoon Yi-rang abandoned the script entirely. She kept dropping hints and played the seduction game. Yoo Myung-han seemed genuinely taken. After dinner, he stopped her from leaving and handed her an invitation to a charity auction. Soon, the auction day arrived. Yoon Yi-rang attended as planned. James disguised himself as a singer and livened up the dance floor. allowing Yoon Yi-rang to dance with Yoo Myung-han. Mid-dance, she tempted the man in front of her. Unable to resist, Yoo Myung-han led her to his office. Seizing the moment, Myung-gu-ho, disguised as a waiter, secured Yoo Myung-han's glass and obtained his fingerprints. Inside the office, Yoon Yi-rang's teasing words drove Yoo Myung-han wild with desire. Yet even in passion, he secretly slipped commission settlement files into the safe. Unnoticed, Yoon Yi-rang positioned her bag, hidden with a sensor, aimed squarely at the safe. Secretly, Myung-gu-ho successfully obtained the safe's password. Once done, Yoon Yi-rang playfully curled back into Yoo Myung-han's arms and excused him out. Myung-gu-ho immediately followed up, using the fingerprints to unlock the office and locate the safe. To buy time, Yoon Yi-rang kept flirting with Yoo Myung-han outside, but a car horn startled him, revealing the flashlight from inside. Yoo Myung-han ordered guards to check the office and grew suspicious of Yoon Yi-rang again. After the auction, Yoon Yi-rang continued the act, dressing as famous painter Frida, claiming she wanted Yoo Myung-han to discover her. As a budding artist, she painted a cute version of girl with a pearl earring, but her poor skills drew ridicule from Myung-gu-ho and James. Later, she brought them to meet an old acquaintance, a skilled forgery artist. Soon, they selected the painting to replicate. With the forger's technique, they created a near-perfect fake. Disguised as a merchant, Myung-gu-ho presented it to Yoo Myung-han for appraisal. While Yoo Myung-han examined it, Yoon Yi-rang and James staged a distraction upstairs, posing as a house-hunting chairman and secretary. Luckily, Yoo Myung-han failed to spot the forgery. Seeing the authenticity certificate and hearing Myung-gu-ho's description, he excitedly declared it genuine and offered a high price to buy it. The trio was overjoyed. On the way back, they unexpectedly saw the painter who helped them being arrested by the police. Fortunately, the three hid in time and weren't spotted by Yoo Myung-han across the street. Then, Myung-gu-ho received a call from Yoo Myung-han, with a serious tone arranging a meeting for the next day. At the meeting, Yoo Myung-han directly mentioned a name, asking if Myung-gu-ho knew him. It was the arrested forger. As Yoo Myung-han stared sharply and pressed forward, Myung-gu-ho panicked and stuttered. Unexpectedly, Yoo Myung-han suddenly bowed to apologize, revealing he had reported the painting Myung-gu-ho brought earlier. It turned out, Yoo Myung-han had identified it as a fake. While speaking, he kept boasting, claiming he was an unparalleled art authenticator who could spot any forgery. Luckily, he didn't see through Myung-gu-ho's fake merchant identity and handed him a charity auction invite. By exposing the fake, Yoo Myung-han gained more media attention. Only then did Yoon Yi-rang's team realize he was far more formidable than expected. But soon, Yoon Yi-rang devised a new plan to find Yoo Myung-han's art trade ledger, sure to contain records of secret funds with politicians. To obtain it, she focused on the upcoming auction party held at Yoo Myung-han's private villa, where his office was located. She was certain the ledger was hidden there. On the party day, Yoon Yi-rang and Myung-gu-ho attended, under their fake identities. Outside, the invited singer was about to enter. As planned, James appeared as a security guard, knocked out the singer, took the invitation card, and boldly entered the party. Inside the villa, an auction was underway. Yoon Yi-rang and Myung-gu-ho mochi the jupai, further gaining Yoo Myung-han's trust. With perfect teamwork, Myung-gu-ho obtained the safe password for Yoo Myung-han's ledger. Next, Myung-gu-ho, disguised as a waiter, served drugged drinks to the control room staff, knocked them out, hacked all monitors, used the fingerprints to enter Yoo Myung-han's office, and opened the safe with the password. They found a hidden USB drive. While copying the drive, Yoo Myung-han below noticed the office lights, immediately called guards. James quickly distracted the crowd with his singer persona, blocking the guards' path. Later, Myung-gu-ho finished copying, sprayed the guards to escape, changed into merchant clothes, and completed the mission. Seeing Yoo Myung-han's suspicious look, Yoon Yi-rang stayed calm, sternly advised Myung-gu-ho to be careful, and rushed back to check the safe. Relieved to find the USB still there, the trio took it home. But the drive didn't contain the ledger, only countless surveillance videos. They showed young painters locked in rooms making forgeries. When exhausted, Yoo Myung-han's men injected them with drugs, forcing them to produce endless fakes. Among them, Myung-gu-ho spotted Bora's name. It turned out Bora had also been trapped there. To learn more, Myung-gu-ho visited her in the hospital. Facing his concern, Bora finally revealed the whole truth. Earlier, Yoo Myung-han approached Bora under the pretext of her artistic talent, inviting her to be an intern painter at his company. He promised to host a solo exhibition for her after the internship. For student painters like Bora, A solo exhibition was the most tempting bait. Holding on to her dream, Bora believed Yu Myung-han's words. She went to a house as instructed and painted tirelessly for him without rest. Under immense mental pressure, Bora gradually broke down. Her paintings began to show mistakes in details. Yu Myung-han then dropped his gentle and hypocritical mask. He bluntly called Bora's skills terrible and told her to leave before ruining his career. Before leaving, Yu Myung-han reminded Bora that the room was monitored, proving she had taken the drugs herself. If exposed, Bora would become a junkie who disappointed her mother. The night Yu Myung-han kicked her out, Bora was extremely disoriented. Her mind was filled with Yu Myung-han's mockery. Because of this, she carelessly got into a car accident. Hearing Bora's story, Myung-gu-ho was outraged. He swore to take revenge for Bora and all the trapped novice painters. Myung-gu-ho brought back the side dishes Bora's mother sent. James tasted one and declared the flavor was pure art. This simple remark gave Yoon Yi-rang inspiration, leading her to quickly devise her next move against Yu Myung-han. Following Yoon Yi-rang's plan, Myung-gu-ho disguised as a merchant to meet Yu Myung-han again. This time, he brought a large collection of paintings. Yu Myung-han chose an oil painting, praising it as absolutely perfect. Soon, Yu Myung-han brought the anonymous painting to the auction, elaborating on its flawless artistry, claiming the painter was an undiscovered genius. Yoon Yi-rang dramatically bid 1 billion won for it, later luring Yu Myung-han by calling it an investment, asserting the artist's lifetime works would surpass this one. Greedy Yu Myung-han fell for it. If Yoon Yi-rang's auction company bought all the artist's works, it would mean enormous profit for him. He immediately contacted his secretary to track down the painter's other works. Soon, he learned, an antique dealer had a similar style painting. Yu Myung-han rushed to authenticate it, confirming it was indeed by the unknown painter. He offered triple the price and extracted the artist's address from the easel, a rural location. An elderly man received him, claiming the painter was his late aunt. He led Yu Myung-han to a warehouse, filled with the aunt's posthumous works. The man recounted a vivid tale. Born into poverty and hard times, frail and sick, the aunt worked tirelessly for art supplies, until collapsing in a snowstorm. Captivated by the story, Yu Myung-han impulsively offered 3 billion for all the works. But then Yoon Yi-rang arrived, instantly raising the price tenfold. Myung-gu-ho, disguised as a merchant, joined the bidding. Panicked, Yu Myung-han jacked the price to 5 billion and finally sealed the deal. After purchasing the paintings, Yu Myung-han hastily held another auction. Before unveiling the works, he displayed the artist's self-portrait until a woman in the audience stood up, declaring the portrait was herself, not a long-dead painter, but Bora's mother, a seaside inn owner. Bora then entered, asking Yu Myung-han if he admired her work. It was revealed all the posthumous works were actually Bora's creations. Days earlier, Yoon Yi-rang persuaded Bora to retaliate. Under Yoon's arrangement, Bora painted multiple works, including her mother's portrait, then aged them to fake relics. Enraged by the truth, Yu Myung-han saw his own videos of imprisoning painters played on the big screen. His crimes exposed, police arrested him on multiple charges. Myung-gu-ho was jolted awake by a nightmare. He found himself in a hospital ward. A little girl explained he was about to undergo a laparoscopy. The girl, Jae-hee, was another patient waiting for surgery. Jae-hee was incredibly sharp. She knew Myung-gu-ho's condition inside out, like a little doctor. Yoon Yi-rang, who was usually quick-witted, couldn't keep up with this 10-year-old girl. Then, a handsome doctor entered the room. Yoon Yi-rang had been flirting with the doctor until she saw him pat Jae-hee's head. Yoon Yi-rang and Jae-hee were like two peas in a pod, both hated having their heads touched. At that moment, the older and younger girl shared the same indignation. During their conversation, Yoon Yi-rang noticed Jae-hee's diagnosis, aortic stenosis. Late at night, Myung-gu-ho saw Jae-hee, who had been cheerful during the day, crying alone on the stairs. Myung-gu-ho researched Jae-hee's condition online and found it meant a congenital heart defect requiring frequent hospitalizations. Soon after, Myung-gu-ho was discharged after his surgery. He gave Jae-hee a teddy bear and promised to accompany her to the claw machine when he came back for suture removal. Sometime later, Myung-gu-ho returned to the hospital for suture removal, but Jae-hee was nowhere to be found. Yoon Yi-rang and James, who had come with him, saw Jae-hee's mother holding a protest sign outside. Yoon Yi-rang suddenly recalled that the handsome doctor had seemed unfamiliar with Jae-hee's condition. She suspected he might not have been the primary surgeon for Jae-hee's operation, a suspicion Myung-gu-ho's findings confirmed. While searching for Jae-hee, Myung-gu-ho overheard two doctors whispering. One was the handsome doctor from before, From their conversation, Myung-gu-ho learned that Jae-hee had undergone a ghost surgery, which led to a medical accident. Myung-gu-ho and the others confronted Dr. Lim, who had been speaking with the handsome doctor. Dr. Lim admitted the truth. The handsome doctor was the hospital director's son, a wealthy man born with a silver spoon. To attract VIP patients, the hospital had branded him as a genius surgeon, though his skills were mediocre. Major surgeries over the years had actually been performed by Dr. Lim, but all the credit went to the handsome doctor. Jae-hee's surgery was no exception. That day, the hospital scheduled multiple VIP surgeries for Dr. Lim. When it was Jae-hee's turn, exhausted Dr. Lim made a critical mistake. James's investigation revealed Dr. Lim was top of his medical school class, but his family's debts forced him into becoming the lead surgeon for the handsome doctor, all orchestrated by the handsome doctor's mother, the hospital chairman. The chairman classified patients by wealth, delaying surgeries for ordinary patients while prioritizing VIPs who paid up front. After Jae-hee's botched surgery, Dr. Lim begged for another operating room but was dismissed by the chairman, who saw no profit in saving her. When Dr. Lim protested, the chairman threatened him to focus only on lucrative surgeries. Witnessing these atrocities, Yoon Yi-rang vowed revenge, visiting Jae-hee in the hospital where she saw her 10-year-old self in the girl. With Yoon's team's efforts, Jae-hee was transferred for emergency surgery, while their revenge plan began. At a luxury store that day, the chairman was told her desired bag was pre-ordered. She brandished her black gemstone card, jabbing it into the clerk's chest while hurling insults. At this moment, Yoon Yi-rang appeared as planned, flashing her Golden Crown membership card to purchase the bag the chairman had her eye on. For the first time being publicly outdone, the chairman's mood turned foul. Next, Myung-gu-ho stepped into his role as a clerk, making the chairman sniff perfume test strips laced with allergens to trigger her cough. Yoon Yi-rang then reappeared, pretending to be a miracle doctor who accurately diagnosed the chairman's condition and urged her to seek medical attention immediately. Shortly after, Myung-gu-ho disguised himself as a maintenance worker, planting a listening device under the chairman's desk and injecting medication into her coffee. As predicted, the chairman began coughing from the perfume strips and drugs. With the bomb planted, it was James's turn. Dressed in a limited edition coat with aristocratic airs, he appeared near the chairman, spraying perfume that stirred memories of her first love, leaving her utterly smitten. After Jae-hee's incident, guilt-ridden Dr. Lim vanished. Without this skilled ghost surgeon, the hospital's VIP surgeries ground to a halt. As cancellations piled up, the chairman desperately sought replacements. To find suitable doctors, she visited a golf course, using the occasion to network. There, James appeared again by chance, once more subtly applying the heart-stirring perfume. In conversations, he dropped hints about his identity, convincing the chairman he was a specialist, connecting ultra-wealthy patients. Eagerly, the chairman approached him, hoping James would refer his elite clients to her hospital. He promptly arranged for a seemingly billionaire chairman to be introduced to her, bringing premium Tieguanyin tea and a gleaming golden toad. The chairman was ecstatic. Through this introduction, James fully earned the chairman's trust. After this incident, patients flocked from all corners. Dreaming of making endless dollars, the chairman could barely contain her joy. During a drinking session with the chairman, James deliberately took a call, mentioning another wealthy chairman and a legendary doctor named Seochi, who was specifically requested for surgery. As their relationship deepened, James spiked the chairman's drink, making her experience chest pain. When she was rushed to the hospital, James swiftly altered the CT scans he'd taken. Doctors, misled by the fake results, warned her of a severe condition requiring immediate surgery, a procedure only Dr. Lim was confident enough to perform. Just then, the chairman's handsome son located Dr. Lim, only to find him with a self-inflicted finger injury, effectively ending his medical career. With Dr. Lim out of the picture, the chairman turned to James's mention of Sochi. James revealed Sochi as the top ghost surgeon, serving only high-profile clients from politics and business. Desperate, the chairman begged James to arrange the surgery. James cleverly hinted at Seochi's exorbitant fees. When she peeked at James's notebook, she recognized Seochi's photo. It was the woman who'd outbid her at the mall. Finally, escorted by James, the chairman met Seochi in the mountains. Now, Yoon Yi-rang's grand finale was about to unfold. Before them, Yoon Yi-rang, disguised as the legendary Dr. Seochi, led a group in health exercises. Facing the chairman, Yoon deliberately exaggerated the severity of her condition. The chairman begged in tears for Seochi to save her. With Myung-gu-ho's cooperation, Yoon mentioned the exorbitant surgery fees. Desperate to live, the chairman agreed to pay Seochi $2.5 million without hesitation. Overjoyed, The trio celebrated until they counted the transferred funds and found a zero missing. After confrontation, the chairman insisted on paying the remaining balance post-surgery. This trapped Yoon's team. Refusing the operation meant losing all payment. Shockingly, Yoon, other PhD, with no medical knowledge, confidently agreed to perform the surgery. She soon presented her surgical team to the chairman. During the procedure, the handsome doctor, the chairman's son, and other staff monitored the operation, unaware James had tampered with the feed, showing a pre-recorded fake video, while Yoon and Myung-gu-ho actually played freely in the OR. When the monitor malfunctioned and revealed the truth, the handsome doctor grew suspicious. James urgently contacted Yoon, causing Myung-gu-ho to panic, but Yoon remained calm, determined to proceed with her self-taught surgical knowledge, despite Myung's warnings about life and death risks. Undeterred, Yoon picked up the scalpel and made the first incision on the chairman. To everyone's astonishment, her natural talent allowed her to flawlessly replicate every surgical step, from instrument handling to precise cuts, appearing as professional as any veteran doctor. But the situation soon took a dramatic turn. During the surgery, the fake expert, Yoon Yi-rang, made a critical mistake, causing the chairman to suffer severe bleeding. Yoon quickly led her team in emergency resuscitation. Seeing his mother's life hanging by a thread, the handsome doctor burst into the operating room to intervene, though he had no confidence in his own poor surgical skills. At that moment, Dr. Lim arrived at the hospital. The handsome doctor begged Dr. Lim to save his mother and apologized for his past disrespect. But this time, Dr. Lim seemed determined, returning the handsome doctor's own cruel words and refusing to care about the chairman's fate. As the real expert walked away, and the chairman's death seemed imminent, Myung-gu-ho nearly collapsed. But suddenly, Yoon clapped her hands happily and announced their retreat, revealing the patient on the operating table was actually a silicone and fiber dummy, and even Dr. Lim's actions had been part of Yoon's plan. Originally, Dr. Lim had been disillusioned by the chairman's despicable behavior until Yoon visited him. Believing Dr. Lim shared her wish to prevent more children suffering like Jae-hee, Yoon gave him ketchup and gauze to fake a finger injury, effectively ending his medical career. Dr. agreed and even added a performance of entering Yoon's fake surgery to give the handsome doctor a taste of his own medicine. Upon learning everything had gone according to Yoon's plan, Myung-gu-ho became even more distraught, frustrated that Yoon had kept him in the dark. Yoon explained it was because Myung had previously doubted her medical abilities, leaving Myung even more speechless. After receiving the final payment, James sent the chairman's real CT scan to the handsome doctor. The chairman then discovered there were no surgical scars on her body. Realizing she'd been scammed, she immediately tried contacting James. Of course, his phone was already disconnected. While the chairman raged over losing a fortune, Dr. Lim bravely stepped forward. He went to the media to expose his secret ghost surgeries and the chairman's many misdeeds. Meanwhile, good news arrived. Jae-hee's surgery was successfully completed. Yoon Yi-rang gifted the girl a claw machine. As she watched the innocent child, Yoon couldn't help but recall her own childhood. Little Yoon Yi-rang was a genius. At just 10 years old, she had already conducted explosive experiments using hydrogen peroxide and potassium iodide. She showed extraordinary talent in math, physics, and chemistry, as well as unique insights into arts and philosophy. Additionally, she was the only daughter of a top chaebol at the time, a carefree little princess. Back then, James had been her bodyguard. On her 10th birthday, her family threw a grand party where James was tasked with protecting the princess. But soon he noticed Yoon Yi-rang had swapped clothes with another girl and vanished. As Yoon's disappearance threw the party into chaos, James and other bodyguards searched everywhere, but found no trace. After 24 hours missing, the family received a ransom call, demanding 3 billion won. Yoon's parents reported to the police. The investigation team launched intensive searches and tracking, but after days, there was still no sign of the kidnappers. James also conducted secret investigations at the birthday party venue. After carefully observing the scene and recalling the events, he noticed that little Yoon Yi-rang had waved to a mysterious figure wearing a rabbit mask. The party theme was Alice in Wonderland, and little Yoon Yi-rang treated everything as a game to make it more exciting. She swapped clothes with her friend. The rabbit's costume had circular and square patterns, leading her to believe it was a puzzle game where she had to find herself based on these shapes. Little Yoon Yi-rang quickly cracked the game's secret, locating objects matching the patterns in the amusement park. She followed the path to a van, only for the rabbit to shut the door from outside, kidnapping her. Later, James deciphered the game's mystery by tracing the rabbit's pattern-shaped designs to corresponding rides. James contacted the rabbit t-shirt manufacturer, who revealed that the person had requested strange patterns on park equipment, claiming children would love them. This suggested the kidnapper was familiar with the party venue. To rescue Yoon faster, he checked the park's only exit road, finding a supermarket where the owner said someone had taken the outside cameras. Fortunately, a photographer had captured images revealing a suspicious vehicle belonging to the investigation team leader. James planted a tracker on the car and followed it. Late at night, he tracked the leader to a remote area, following footprints while clever little Yoon Yi-rang devised escape plans. She played poker with her captor, consistently winning, then proposed a game of hide-and-seek. While the kidnapper counted, she hid in a storage room, using hydrogen peroxide and potassium iodide to make explosive devices. Timing her escape perfectly, she triggered the explosion during the door opening, fleeing the villa. Hearing the blast, James saw Yoon escaping, but she was soon pursued by the kidnapper. Exhausted, Yoon was cornered until James fought the captor in the dark. A gunshot later, Yoon was saved. Now, reviewing the kidnapping case's intricate clues, Yoon has uncovered that Myung-gu-ho, her peer in age, was also involved in the incident. After the kidnapping, Yoon Yi-rang developed dissociative disorder and entered a long period of recovery, while James left her to work as a bodyguard for a corrupt politician. During an event, James shielded the politician from eggs and flour thrown by the public, but was still scorned by him. Feeling frustrated, James quit his job. At that moment, an adult Yoon Yi-rang reappeared and recognized James, showing him a photo. After the kidnapping, the man in the photo had tipped off the police about the kidnapper and received a 3 billion reward. Yoon Yi-rang hoped James would join her in finding this man, planning to track down the kidnapper for revenge. From then on, James became Yoon Yi-rang's right-hand man, embarking on a life of deception. Recently, Yoon Yi-rang discovered a document related to a damages case and noticed a beautiful woman listed as a representative. Yoon Yi-rang realized she had found an even bigger target. The beautiful woman, a former beauty pageant star turned advertising celebrity, had founded a cosmetics brand that quickly reached annual revenues of 500 billion. Externally, the female boss is revered as a goddess, with an excellent reputation. However, Yoon Yi-rang's investigation revealed that privately, the boss was harsh and belittled her employees, demanding they weigh themselves daily. If any employee gained weight, she would be ruthlessly sarcastic. Using her wealth, she trampled on the lower-tier employees. Whenever an employee sued her, she would smear their reputation, even if it meant ruining their life. A few years ago, to promote a new skincare product, her company collaborated with several beauty influencers. During a live broadcast, one influencer experienced severe acne and skin deterioration after using the product. Realizing it was due to the skincare, the influencer sued the boss's company. However, the boss quietly replaced the harmful ingredient in the product and tried to cover it up. In court, the influencer dressed provocatively, which, in conservative South Korea, led the judge and public to mistakenly view her as a superficial gold digger. In contrast, the boss appeared as a knowledgeable and successful entrepreneur, easily winning public favor and being seen as a symbol of beauty and justice. As a result, the influencer's lawsuit failed repeatedly. A month ago, unwilling to give up, the influencer attempted to appeal again but was betrayed by her best friend. The friend, having taken money from the cosmetics company, secretly sent fake messages from the influencer's phone, creating the illusion that she was suing for money and property. The judge, without verifying the evidence, believed these claims and convicted the influencer of false accusation and defamation. Yoon Yi-rang and her two companions initiated their plan. Yoon Yi-rang started by attaching a sabotage device to the boss's car tire, leading her to a roadside repair shop. Disguised as a mechanic, Myung-gu-ho prepared a device to drain battery power and discreetly approached the boss and her secretary's phones, quickly draining their batteries. With no power to call her insurance, the boss had to enter the repair shop. During the repair, Myung-gu-ho secretly transferred all the contents from the secretary's phone to James, who was remotely controlling the operation. With the information from the phone, Yoon Yi-rang also discovered that the boss had been eager to end the lawsuit with the influencer by fabricating evidence because, in a few days, the cosmetics company was planning to invite a group of influencers for a skincare product trial event. To dig deeper into the boss's secrets, Myung-gu-ho disguised himself as one of the well-known influencers, Masked Lady, and successfully infiltrated the company's event. At the event, since nobody had seen the true face of Masked Lady, The company and other influencers fully believed in her identity. The influencers were to participate in a yoga session. To avoid revealing his identity, Myung-gu-ho reluctantly changed into yoga attire and joined the group of fit women for the session. Despite his awkward yoga poses, the boss did not become suspicious. After yoga, there was a skincare product trial. Surrounded by bodyguards, Myung-gu-ho could only passively participate, finding no opportunity to act. Fortunately, Yoon Yi-rang had an idea. She and James disguised themselves as security from a psychiatric hospital, claiming that Masked Lady was an escaped patient. Myung-gu-ho quickly cooperated by pretending to hide and sneaked into the boss's office, where he planted a listening device under her desk. Yoon Yi-rang and James then appeared and successfully extracted Myung-gu-ho under the guise of security. Using the listening device, the trio learned about the boss's current plans. She was about to sign a contract with a top European cosmetics company, contingent on the quality of the skincare samples sent. However, the new product was only infused with common herbal extracts and couldn't meet the contract's quality requirements. Additionally, for the signing, the boss urgently needed to find an amateur model for a makeup transformation, with strict requirements for good skin and a transformable appearance. Yoon Yi-rang saw this as the perfect opportunity. She dressed dowdily and went to the station, quickly catching the eye of an employee scouting for models. The boss was very pleased with Yoon Yi-rang's skin and appearance and immediately invited her to be the company's model, giving her a makeup session live on camera. With her naturally good features, Yoon Yi-rang attracted everyone's attention during the broadcast. After the live session, the boss marveled at Yoon Yi-rang's natural skin. Seizing the moment, Yoon Yi-rang dropped a bottle labeled "Beauty Water" to pique the boss's curiosity. When an employee's acne-ridden skin improved overnight after using the beauty water, the boss instructed her secretary to analyze its ingredients. The tests confirmed it was full of natural elements and skin-benefiting minerals. The boss immediately searched online for beauty water and discovered it came from a mysterious place called Fairy Village. Intrigued by the secrets of beauty water, she headed to Fairy Village that night. In this village, every girl has beautiful skin. It is said that there is a magical well in the village, and drinking its water grants eternal youth. To uncover the secret of the beauty water, the female boss visited a publishing house to find the author who wrote about Fairy Village. However, James, posing as the author, had been waiting for her. According to the plan, James claimed that no one knew more about Fairy Village than his nephew, and he drove the female boss there to find him. Myung-gu-ho, pretending to be a local, chatted aimlessly with the female boss at the village tea house. During their conversation, she noticed that the skin of the girls working there was exceptionally good. Observing the customers, including some elderly women, she saw that everyone's skin had a unique glow. Even the female students passing by outside were exceptionally beautiful. The female boss then took out the bottle of beauty water left behind by Yoon Yi-rang and inquired about her whereabouts. After taking the female boss's money, Myung-gu-ho led her to what he called Fairy Village. When they arrived, the female boss finally saw the spring that was said to preserve youth. Just as she was about to collect some of the water, Yoon Seo, disguised as a local girl by Yoon Yi-rang, appeared on time. The female boss asked if the girls in Fairy Village had such good skin because of the spring water. With Myung-gu-ho's cooperation, Yoon Yi-rang led the female boss to her family's warehouse. Inside, there were countless jars filled with beauty, water made from the spring. The female boss became even more convinced that this beauty water was a natural cosmetic handed down through generations. She wanted to ask more about the beauty water, but Yoon Yi-rang, in a burst of acting, ran into the house, crying. Myung-gu-ho, acting the part well, claimed that a cosmetics company had come to Fairy Village 10 years ago, intending to commercialize the beauty water. However, the signing bonus they provided was taken by Yoon Seo's father, who then disappeared after gambling away the money, leaving Yoon Seo to believe that her father's disappearance was due to breaking a taboo. Originally, Fairy Village had a rule. The secret recipe for beauty water could not be shared outside the village. The female boss began to worry. At this moment, Myung-gu-ho suggested that Yoon Seo had been paying off her father's debts for years. If the female boss could buy the land and settle Yoon Seo's debts, perhaps Yoon Seo would share the beauty water recipe. The idea tempted the female boss. Owning the recipe and patent rights could lead to a huge profit. Inside, Yoon Yi-rang excitedly counted the money, waiting for the female boss to decide to buy the land. Unexpectedly, the female boss did not pay immediately, but turned to leave, heading back to the tea house they had visited earlier. James panicked, pretended to have an urgent need, and secretly contacted the director filming at the tea house, urging him to add a scene quickly. It turned out that the beautiful skinned girls at the tea house were all extras found by Yoon Yi-rang through a movie casting. When the female boss arrived at the tea house, the female boss scrutinized the girls and questioned whether they all were using beauty water. As scripted, the girls admitted to using it and claimed it miraculously cured their acne. Nodding, the female boss pointed at the beauty water displayed at the front desk and bought all of it. She then instructed her staff to analyze its components and replicate the product to match the beauty water exactly, aiming to secure the patent. James and Myung-gu-ho were worried. If the female boss succeeded in replicating the beauty water, she wouldn't pay Yoon-so. Yoon Yi-rang wasn't worried about the consequences because the beauty water's ingredients came from a rare plant not yet known to science, making it impossible for the cosmetic industry to replicate. As Yoon Yi-rang predicted, the female boss's company failed to produce an exact match for the beauty water. According to Yoon Yi-rang's plan, in the following days, they would continue to subtly influence the female boss, ensuring that the allure of Fairy Village's beauty water remained irresistible in her mind. Drinking water bottles were set up at the company's front desk, and a billboard advertising Fairy Village was hung across the street, among other hints. Combined, these subtle cues indeed had a masterfully stimulating effect. Following this, Myung-gu-ho called, falsely claiming that Yoon-seo's family was in trouble. The subconsciously influenced female boss could no longer sit still and hurried back to Fairy Village. In the village, Yoon Yi-rang staged a scene where her house was being threatened with demolition due to her father's debts, with a friend acting as the creditor demanding the land as repayment. Meanwhile, other friends discreetly opened the warehouse, storing the beauty water. Finally, the female boss decided to buy Yoon-seo's land. At Yoon Yi-rang's suggestion, her friend dramatically increased the price, leading the female boss to purchase the land for 4.5 billion Korean won, acquiring the magical formula for the beauty water as well. After resolving the formula issue, the female boss signed a contract with a European cosmetics company. Delighted with the signing ceremony, she headed to Fairy Village to collect the beauty water formula, dreaming of a bright future in the global market. However, upon arrival, she found the once bustling village eerily deserted. Several workers were sealing a well and had placed a "not safe for drinking" sign nearby. The female boss learned from them that a nearby abandoned mine had contaminated the well, making the water undrinkable and unsuitable for skincare. Opening the well, she saw the water was dark and murky. The workers explained that the site had long been abandoned. The female boss, in disbelief, followed the workers' directions to find the real Yoon-seo, only to discover that the Yoon-seo she met was not the same person. At that moment, her secretary called to inform her that the European company had never sent anyone to sign the contract. The female boss finally realized she had been deceived. Arranged by Yoon Yi-rang, influencers harmed by the low-quality skincare product joined forces with the company's employees to start a live broadcast. During the stream, employees revealed the female boss's fraudulent activities and exposed recordings of her deceiving consumers. From then on, the once untouchable female boss was ruined, left with nothing in her bank accounts and wanted for financial fraud, ultimately becoming a homeless beggar. Recently, Yoon Yi-rang has been troubled by nightmares about the mysterious person who kidnapped him years ago. Upon waking, Yoon Yi-rang realizes that he must identify this mystery person, who has become the tormentor in his dreams, to finally escape the shadows of his past. Years ago, Yoon Yi-rang and James traveled to a small island targeting Myung-gu-ho. At the time of the kidnapping, a man reported the location to the police and received a large reward. This man was Myung-gu-ho's father. A year after claiming the reward, only his skeletal remains were found. Yoon Yi-rang suspects that Myung-gu-ho's father might have faked his death to escape. To uncover the truth, Yoon Yi-rang starts with Myung-gu-ho. During a dinner where Yoon Yi-rang kept serving him drinks, a drunk Myung-gu-ho revealed that his father died when he was in elementary school and had called him before his death, instructing him to obey a certain uncle. Curious about this mysterious uncle, Yoon Yi-rang took the opportunity to look through Myung-gu-ho's family album and found a ticket from Seoul Amusement Park dated the day of his own kidnapping. They then sneaked into Myung-gu-ho's storage room and found an old mobile phone. The call history showed that the mysterious uncle used public phones to contact Myung-gu-ho's father, clearly hiding his identity. Yoon Yi-rang suspects that if Myung-gu-ho's father was involved with the kidnappers, it was unnecessary to take his son to Seoul unless under threat. Perhaps it was a double kidnapping, with young Myung-gu-ho also a victim. To protect his son, Myung-gu-ho's father might have been forced to make the tip-off call and hand over the reward to the kidnappers, who eventually killed him. The next day, Yoon Yi-rang and James left the island and gave their business card to Myung-gu-ho, who was about to move to Seoul for a job. They planned to tell him the truth once they found the kidnapper. Unexpectedly, in Seoul, Myung-gu-ho fell victim to a job scam and, with nowhere to go, sought out Yoon Yi-rang and James, who then took him in and included him in their con team. This time, Yoon Yi-rang targeted a new mark, Ha, a magnate in the national fisheries industry. According to Yoon Yi-rang's investigation, Ha falsely sold farmed seafood as wild and mixed in oil fish, which is not fit for consumption, to maximize profits. Recently, Ha also tried to forcibly acquire a factory using underhanded tactics. The desperate factory owner, hoping to at least save his employees' jobs, pleaded with Ha to no avail. Driven to despair, the owner nearly sought death in the Han River, but was inspired to persevere by motivational banners on the bridge. Before leaving, the owner tore up a suicide note, which Yoon Yi-rang later found and pieced together, learning about Ha's feud with the factory owner. An incident of mass food poisoning at an elementary school traced back to Ha's company. With powerful backing, Ha blamed the intermediary factory, which was forced to shut down. Later, pretending to be benevolent, Ha transferred 30 million Korean won to the factory owner, who thought Ha was coming to his rescue, not knowing that Ha had secretly instructed his secretary to auction off the factory. Now, to teach the greedy Ha a lesson, Yoon Yi-rang and his team began their scheme. Myung-gu-ho disguised himself as a postman and swapped the magazines in Ha's mailbox with their custom-made film magazine. Yoon Yi-rang learned that Ha was an avid movie fan who once dreamed of being in the film industry, and was particularly obsessed with Hong Kong gangster films, fantasizing about being the hero who saves the world. Originally, Ha planned to study abroad and pursue a degree in film, but he had to take over the family business due to his father's health issues. As the only son, he had no choice, making film an unfulfilled dream for him. To exploit Ha's dream, Yoon Yi-rang set a trap in the film magazine, which featured an article about a cafe popular among cinephiles. Captivated by the article, Ha visited the cafe the next day, where Yoon Yi-rang, disguised as the owner, and a well-known director who had worked on several major films were present. The director deliberately brushed past Ha and went upstairs to discuss movies with supposed crew members. Seeing the director, Ha was completely hooked. Next, James and Myung-gu-ho posed as a movie company representative and an up-and-coming director, respectively. They discussed an upcoming film project within earshot of Ha at the cafe, intentionally mentioning a shortage of production funds and a remarkable role in the script for which they couldn't find the right actor. Intrigued by the professionals' discussion, Ha became fascinated by the film. James and Myung-gu-ho purposely left a script behind, which Ha picked up and read. He discovered it was about his favorite genre, gangster films. Seizing the moment, Ha introduced himself to the two filmmakers, revealing his undying dream of working in film. To him, the movie represented a second life he could only dream of. Quickly seizing the opportunity, Myung-gu-ho and James encouraged Ha to invest in the film and showed him the complete script. The script was actually copied by Yoon Yi-rang from a screenplay textbook. To attract Ha, Yoon Yi-rang chose a melodramatic movie plot with an amnesia twist, which Ha indeed praised highly after reading. Seizing the moment, James presented an investment breakdown, claiming only 4 billion won was left for production costs, trying to persuade Ha, the movie enthusiast, to invest. Unexpectedly, Ha declined to invest. James and Myung-gu-ho continued to chat with him, boasting that the director aimed to create a film that would attract 10 million viewers. However, no matter how they tempted him, Ha remained uninvested. Yoon Yi-rang and his team were puzzled by Ha's reluctance, but fortunately had friends in the film industry who explained that for someone like Ha, who missed out on his movie dream, films were like an unapproachable crush. Now, as if the crush suddenly professed her liking and wanted to date him, Ha naturally felt intimidated and dared not step closer. Understanding Ha's mindset, Yoon Yi-rang decided to adjust their strategy to slowly allure him. Following the plan change, James enthusiastically invited Ha to the set, even bringing in a well-known actor, allowing Ha to witness a real filming session for the first time. At the set, Myung-gu-ho, playing a rookie director, was ready and politely offered Ha the director's chair to observe. During the shoot, as planned, the lead actress fainted. Afterwards, James disclosed to Ha that due to personal health issues, the actress had to leave the production. James looked visibly distressed, noting that many companies had invested because of her, and now the funds would surely be withdrawn. Amidst the financial crisis on set, even at this critical moment, Ha refrained from making a spontaneous investment, displaying signs of interest, but not fully committing, nearly driving James and Myung-gu-ho to frustration. Yoon Yi-rang was fully confident in their latest plan, intending to use a honey trap by featuring himself in a magazine as a new actress from Hong Kong breaking into the Korean market. Upon seeing Yoon Yi-rang's photo in the magazine, Ha immediately contacted James to recommend her for the lead role. Excited, Ha rushed to meet the director and producer, eager to suggest Yoon Yi-rang for the role. Myung-gu-ho and James happily went along with it, agreeing that they had also noticed the beautiful newcomer and that she had agreed to come to Korea for filming. Meanwhile, James hinted to Ha that the actress was known to be involved in rumors with investors during filming, a ploy to entice Ha, who was known for his lascivious interests. Afterwards, they went to pick her up from the airport. Yoon Yi-rang, dressed glamorously, appeared amidst a crowd of fans, capturing Ha's attention throughout. Seizing the moment, Yoon Yi-rang took the flowers from Ha's hands and flirtatiously winked at him. That night, Ha called to express his willingness to invest in the film, but wanted the script changed to his satisfaction before he would commit the funds. Knowing they couldn't be passive, and recognizing Ha's passion for the movie, Yoon Yi-rang planned to leverage this enthusiasm. The next day, James and Myung-gu-ho visited Ha's mansion. While Ha was talking to Myung-gu-ho, James covered for Yoon Yi-rang, allowing him to sneak into the mansion. While discussing the movie, Ha, deeply involved as a fan, even stayed up all night to draft detailed storyboards and came up with a new title for the film, immersing himself in his cinematic fantasies. Meanwhile, James took the opportunity to search the mansion during a bathroom break, but neither he nor Yoon Yi-rang could find the target item. In fact, Yoon Yi-rang targeted Ha as this time's mark, because her research revealed that a painting titled Ghost Castle, which had hung in the castle where she was once kidnapped, was later purchased by Ha. Currently, the painting was not found in Ha's mansion, prompting Yoon Yi-rang and James to change their plan. They continued to leverage discussions about films, and James attempted to probe Ha by asking if wealthy people's homes typically have hidden secret spaces. However, Ha's response was disappointing, indicating no secret places in his home. While searching for Ghost Castle, the rewritten script by Ha himself officially started filming. In the film, the actress, played by Yoon Yi-rang, portrays a beautiful clothing store owner who is secretly a skilled fighter capable of taking on many foes. Ha supervised the entire filming process, even overstepping his bounds by shouting at the crew on set. With the movie halfway done, Ha was quite satisfied. Midway through, he confidently transferred 4 billion won to James, the producer. During a discussion about the latter half of the script, which focuses on a gangster boss, Yoon Yi-rang creatively brought up the painting, suggesting it could symbolize the boss's psyche in his scenes. Pretending it was just her imagination, Ha's interest was piqued by her description, and he mentioned he owned such a painting, which could be lent to the production as a prop. However, Ha also made a condition he wanted to play the artistically intense gangster boss. After agreeing to his request, Yoon Yi-rang and James finally saw the long-missing Ghost Castle. As a part-time actor who brought funding to the project, Ha was deeply involved in his role, playing an exaggerated yet comically effective gangster. As the filming wrapped up, under James's lead, the crew applauded Ha. At the upcoming preview screening, Ha attended with the main actors and directors. Before the screening, Yoon Yi-rang reminded Ha that he was about to enter a new world, which Ha took as a compliment. However, just minutes into the screening, the film took a sharp turn. The screen showed scenes of Ha's seafood company switching domestic products with imported ones. Besides this money-making scheme, the film also exposed Ha's private meals with politicians and lawyers. At the dinner, Ha mentioned the previous elementary school food poisoning incident. Under the politician's advice, Ha chose to cut losses and also bribed the politician and a lawyer substantially. All these misdeeds were now exposed on the big screen, immediately attracted media attention. The politician stormed out in anger, and Ha attempted to flee, but was arrested on the spot by the police, who had already arrived. Afterwards, James and Myung-gu-ho donated many items to the wrongly accused factory and gave the factory owner a box full of cash before leaving. The owner was overjoyed, as his life was finally turning around. Later, Yoon Yi-rang donated the Ghost Castle painting to a museum. That day, a man, an architect named Kang who had returned from studying abroad, was drawn to the painting and stood before it for a long time. Yoon Yi-rang realized this man was the kidnapper from years ago. During a lecture, Kang spoke of his impoverished, tragic childhood, with a negligent family and a mother who was abused by his father. From a young age, Kang understood that life was never fair and planned to change his fate by studying abroad, which required money. On stage, he claimed he had tutored a child from a well-known business family. Yoon Yi-rang knew this child was himself. Watching Kang speak passionately about his architectural dreams, Yoon Yi-rang resolved to seek revenge. At home, Myung-gu-ho noticed something off about James and suspected he was hiding a secret. Given Yoon Yi-rang's repeated mentions of the painting during their operation, Myung-gu-ho suspected that Yoon Yi-rang and James might be keeping something from him. Curious, he entered Yoon Yi-rang's room and found walls covered with information about their targets, all of whom were connected to Myung-gu-ho's deceased father. Shocked, Myung-gu-ho had thought their choice of targets was random. With growing confusion and frustration, Myung-gu-ho confronted Yoon Yi-rang, demanding answers.